Prepare yourself for a sprawling discussion on just about anything, where critical thinking meets pop culture in a collision of mind-bending proportions. Please secure all neurons and prepare for full frontal cortex. It's time for Incoherent Ramblings. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Incoherent Ramblings. Ramble 004. We're on dreaming today, and we're going to have a great discussion about what happens when we go to sleep. This is Joey Schammel, your Dream Master. Sorry. And we also have
Kail Anderson.
And Daryl Jors.
And we're going to start off running with this great move. Oh, and today's episode is brought to you by Hot Rod, Masterpiece Rodimus from the Transformers the movie. You got the touch!
And he's got an extra matrix that doesn't fit in him.
Yeah, if anybody needs it.
Yeah. I hate it when the matrix won't fit.
I know. I'll try to bring... We'll do Starscream next week.
Okay.
Okay. So, dreaming. We all watched this great movie called Dreamscape, and I just gotta say, I love 80s cheese, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I hadn't seen this since I was a kid. Spoiler alert, by the way, but...
There's nothing like the stink of a good 1980s cheese.
Wow. And Dennis Quaid was young guy.
You know, he reminds me of my friend David.
Oh, yeah, he did look like him,
especially
yeah.
back at, like, when he was closer to high school age, he had the long hair going on. And Dennis Quaid, like, every shot, I'm just like going, it's Dave. But anyway.
Yeah, so we watched Dreamscape, if you want to take a couple hours of your life and enjoy it. Hey, I liked it. I watched it when I was a kid.
I like it for what it is.
Yeah, I liked it as a kid, and seeing it now, it's like, whoa, that's... I think.
Okay, I gotta say, I think I missed the exposure time for that, because it's like a young chick when they're born, they will, they'll cling to whatever they're exposed to, and so I didn't see this movie in the 80s, which was a big problem for me, because...
Yeah, you probably like it better.
Oh my gosh. The first time I saw it was just about a year ago, and the first thing that killed me was the score in this movie.
Oh,
it sounded like someone on a Casio keyboard.
Yeah, the music sucked.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And then, you know, there's some kind of problems with some of the acting, and it seems like, to me, they didn't do enough with the premise. There was a lot that could be done there. Now, they're on a budget, so understandably, they can only do so much, but it still seemed like, come on.
And they were going for, I think they were going more for horror than sci-fi.
Yeah.
So that switched it around a bit.
I guess that's what intrigued me.
Oh, spoiler alert.
Oh, you're supposed to be the spoiler master.
Cobra!
Yeah, Cobra! Actually, yeah. So, for those of you who don't know or haven't had a chance to watch it, Dreamscape is this 80s movie. It's a little cheesy, but it's about this psychic. And the government and institution finds him, and they decide, hey, we're doing this dream study where... you can actually get psychics to focus enough so they can enter the dreams of other people and find out, like, what their problems are in their dreams psychologically. And wouldn't you know it, the president has some problems. Yes, the president of the United States.
Because he looks around... another spoiler alert. He surveys a post-apocalyptic scene, and he says, I did this.
And yes, he did. And I did this. And the first one's, it's just blue screen... tragedy. You're just like, oh my god.
The screen effects are pretty bad.
It actually got better as it went on, but it was pretty anyway.
Overall, the whole thing strikes me as made for TV material.
Right.
Really.
Now, yeah.
Well, and when I saw it when I was a kid, when I wasn't a kid, but I guess my teenage years, I really liked it, and it got me into dreaming, the idea of what dreams could be and what you can do in dreams and controlling your dreams. That's before I knew about lucid dreaming or what it was. So it really kind of got me on the loving dreams and neuroscience and anything to do with the brain.
I can see that because it was one of your doorways to invite you into discovery on that front. But
that's exactly what it did for me.
I mean, never had that experience, so I have no love for this movie.
Right.
So,
but
you guys have a little love fest,
got all
and I'll
sorts
just
of
sit
stuff out of it.
Hey, we get to have a love fest.
Yeah,
you go first.
Well, the one thing about it is that I thought that the technology, especially at the time when they were talking about it, it made me want to explore, because like you said, the premise was really excellent, you know, and of course they didn't fully realize it, but I think what Joey was saying is we kind of did after we saw the movie, it kind of sparked the interest and made us want to go do that. And so it did. It actually made me try and succeed in lucid dreaming.
Well, the thing is, I was younger than you at the time. I didn't know about lucid dreaming or anything like that. They don't mention it in the movie. But when I first found out about lucid dreaming, which we're going to talk about a little bit later, I was just like, oh my God, you can do this. I mean, you can't have someone else in your dream for real, but you can have a dream that's as real as real life.
Well,
and not yet.
Your dream won't be interlinked with someone else's
Exactly.
dream. Or they won't have memory of your dream, but you can definitely have other people in your dream.
Right.
For sure.
Mr. Literal brings it.
Well, no, it's true. You can have
the literal internet speaks
and they can be naked. All right. So anyway, so that was Dreamscape. Let's take a look at what might be possible from the movie. So let's start off first of all. We already know lucid dreaming is possible. Very realistic dreams. What about the idea of going into someone's dream? I mean, is that something that scientifically we'd ever be able to do? What do you guys think?
Absolutely.
Expand.
Oh, you actually want me to defend my position?
No, just talk more about it. This is a freaking podcast. Just like, yes. Okay, of my fault. I asked a yes/no question. Sorry. Yeah. What?
One-word answers do not work here.
Yeah, that's the thing is that from all we've seen of how we're able to encode and decode human thought, it just seems like a given. We're going to get there. We're going to get to the point where we can actually, replay somebody's dream. Just like we had it, as if we had it ourselves. It's totally going to be happening.
Okay, so you're saying replay a dream. What about a live dream? Connect people together with wires and have the other person enter into their thoughts.
More difficult, but yes. I think we'll be able to do that too.
I have a little bit of a problem with that idea. The main thing that, like what you're talking about, analyzing someone's dream or being able to play it back, that's going to be a real challenge, but I think it might be possible that if brain scan technology gets to be accurate enough, you might be able to do that. But it might be something akin to, say, predicting the weather. You have to create a model of what's happening inside someone's brain, but the measurement of what's happening in there is too imprecise to actually give you all the details. So I don't think that you would see vivid displays of what's going on in someone's head, but you can get an approximation of it. It might look kind of grainy. It might look like you have cheesecloth draped in front of your face, but you're seeing the person's dream in some sort of representation.
I like that, like predicting the weather. Yeah, that's...
in a way, because it's too chaotic and you have imprecise data.
If there were a lot of storms, it would be like, thunder, thunder, thunder! Sorry, robot chicken thing.
Well, one of the problems that we're going to face, and I think we're going to overcome all of those problems you're talking about,
right.
But I think that one of the big problems is actually understanding what is the dream, what is physically happening in the brain to cause us. We know after we wake up, or even in our dreams if we're lucid dreaming, where we look at it and we know what we think we're seeing, but our brains are filling in things, correcting things, and so who knows what really is going on there. The end result is our brains make sense of it, and we all of a sudden are, I guess, experiencing what we think is a dream.
So if we can get the electronic impulses, we might be able to get the bits and pieces of the dream, and then maybe it's up to us or the computer program to generate it into something that everybody could...
And I guess the main engineering challenge that's facing that is anytime you do any sort of brain scan on someone, you have very weak signals under the surface that just don't project out very far beyond...
The drill will fix that.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. You have to get through... the skull.
So and we're going to do that.
Pan is definitely
pretty soon we're going to be in there with our phones in our heads. Well, so we're going to be there.
It's going to be the engineering challenge is nanotechnology, because you have to really implant the stuff into someone's head, and then you have to be as non-invasive as possible, because the more you drill and poke around, the more you destroy what's there. So yeah, it's one of those things that I think we're talking pretty far future, or at least if the singularity happens, you have to be maybe post-singularity to get to that kind of technology. So it's a big challenge to accurately scan someone's
I'll make a prediction.
But once we're
40 years. 40 years. Yeah. Within 40 years, we will be able to...
Hold on. Kail prediction. Kail, what is your prediction?
Within 40 years, we'll be able to witness in a pretty good form someone else's dream.
In the year 2053!
There you go.
Yeah.
And how accurate am I?
One of you will be like, "Ha! I told you it's gonna be like that."
That's what I do now.
We'll listen to this on our brain pod and go, "Oh, they were so off."
Our brain pod, yes.
Well, the thing is that I think everybody tends to think in terms of.
Why will we be old prospectors in the future?
Yeah, that is a problem, isn't it?
Hey, look at us,
crotchety old men.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, but
there'll be a cure for old man voice by the time we're that age.
Yeah,
we're
all going to live forever anyway. So
I'm 95.
That's going to happen.
I'm sorry, Kail. What you were saying?
The law of accelerating returns, with which Ray Kurzweil talks about quite a bit. For his singularity, and they're finding more and more things are not following this incremental growth. It's all building, and once you hit that point, the accelerating return, you shoot straight up practically, and the amount of change and advancement becomes unbelievable.
In technology, that would be the growth of technology. That would be an interesting subject, I think, to cover at some point. But maybe okay, but for now, let's. We were kind of going into what is dreams, which
we could maybe make it more specific about the singularity.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
Pre and post singularity technology.
Nice.
That could be it.
We were kind of going into what dreams are, but before we do that, because we're still a little bit on Dreamscape. Any other good dream movies you guys can think about? Anything that pops to mind?
There's a movie, but it's not about dreams per se. Although
Brainstorm.
Yes.
Brainstorm. I was thinking the same one.
It's because Linda and I were talking about
that's
that.
a Lego set, right?
And what?
Mindstorm?
Yeah.
Not
Mindstorm.
Okay. No, Brainstorm. It's got
Christopher Walken. Natalie Wood. It was her last movie.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, that's when she died.
And the whole part where you can have sex with Okay, well, let me teaser.
Wait, what?
Wait. Not
Spoiler.
teaser. Spoiler
alert.
Spoiler alert. Okay, the idea behind Brainstorm is you put this little doohickey on your head, and then you have experiences, and it records them, and then later you put the doohickey on your head again.
Well, it looks a lot like the thing that Doc Brown puts on his head, don't you think?
Yeah, but smaller. Not quite as...
And of course, once the product people get hold of it, it becomes very small.
And that's how he maintains his curly hair.
Yes, of course. And it's not curly, it's just...
Oh.
Yeah, that was really good visual for... Okay. Podcasting. So, in Brainstorm, what happens is you can play back people's experiences, and you experience them 100% of it as if it's really happening to you. So, they're trying to get it out on the market and everything, and it's become this big thing. But of course, what ends up happening, one thing is that people, do things like, they have sex, and then that's recorded, and you experience the whole thing. But then what happens is somebody dies while they're wearing it. And so if somebody else wears it, when that happens, they end up dying too, and it becomes this whole thing. And once again, they go in the horror area. There's no good science fiction dream movies, is there? Anybody think of any?
That don't involve horror? Or?
Well, no, that might involve horror, but I mean, just really dreams and...
I couldn't think of much that I've actually seen, but I'm sure that there's...
Looks like there's a big opening. There's Dreamweaver, which was made by the people in
That was a
Dragonflix
Twisters production.
and never edited. Starring Ethan Steffens as the Dream Master. Paul Hodger is the guy.
That Steffens.
Ethan Steffens.
Oh, God.
He's in the white pages. So, I wanted to bring up, just to backtrack a moment while you're looking that up. We were talking about reading someone's images from their brain, like their dreams. Have you ever seen this before? This was a Berkeley experiment where they presented someone with a picture of a bird.
Right.
And they did, through a brain scan, they basically composited this image based on neural activity in the visual cortex. And it's not great yet, and that's kind of why I think that even when this is a technology that's, if you look on the internet and just look up...
It's a podcast, huh?
Yeah, because I'm showing everyone a picture.
That's amazing!
It's like,
can't you guys see it?
While you're showing it to me, I think, this is totally relevant. And then I'm going, afterwards, like, they can't see that.
Yeah, you know what?
But
I saw something on that in the Science Channel where they had it with letters, and the guy thought the letters, and they were able to see it.
Right. So this kind of thing is already possible in a preliminary fashion. And do a Google search for brain scan vision, and the top links that you'll find will be relevant to that. You'll see news stories on it and photo examples. Now, the imagery is pretty rough that they're able to recollect, but according to the researchers, they did not use any algorithms that took the original image to try to process it. What they do is they just take raw data and they have to individualize it to the patient. Because everyone's visual cortex is going to process things a little differently, but they try to map out your visual cortex by giving you test images, and they can find out which parts respond to certain portions of your vision.
Right. So
and after they do that, they have kind of a pixel chart and a grid they can do, and they say when this particular neural area fires off, we're going to fill in this pixel with a particular color.
Right. And I think that's the way they've got to go about it. But the problem is that's the wrong way to go about it if you want to experience someone else's dream, because what you've got to do is let the brain interpret it, because that's what's going on anyway. So if that's that's the direction they've got to head once they get this preliminary stuff done, which they will, and then they can move on to trying to get people's brains to interpret what's happening, and then they'll quickly find out our brains are up to that challenge. They'll take over and they'll interpret it and we'll get it.
The thing I kind of see, though, is that if you were joining two people together to have a together dream, it'd be almost like networking two completely different video games. Like maybe one person's dreaming something that's kind of like World of Warcraft and the other person's dreaming something that's more like StarCraft. You know, one's fantasy, one's sci-fi. But there's an interchange of information where you can tell what the other person's doing. But you're still, because most of the impetus of what creates your dream comes from your own brain, I don't know how you would necessarily carry that over to someone else.
I agree with you on that part. I think that we'll be able to witness somebody else's dream and maybe even live while they're dreaming it. But to actually have two people dream together, that I think that is going to be a difficult
an interesting management thing about who controls what, and
I
how much of it would actually be shared back and forth. How much information can you get between the two people's brains? And then the thing is, maybe it could be set up where maybe one person could have those creative parts of their brain shut down medically, and then they're just receiving signals from the other person, so they would essentially be getting the same signals, and whether or not their brain would process it as the same exact dream is anyone's guess at this point.
Yeah, very true.
Okay, Joey.
Well, I can
see your facial expression.
I just have to say that everybody out in podcast land is yelling at us because we forgot a very important dream movie that just came out recently.
Inception.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Which, by the way, I didn't think was all that great. I was all right.
I really liked it.
It was fine, but everyone was saying it was
really a lot more
fantasy. I watched it before the podcast.
Well, we're not talking about it.
Yeah, but we didn't. That would have been a good one, but it's those. I don't think they.
I'm going to throw one out there.
Nightmare on Elm Street. Woohoo!
Oh, I want to watch this one. Akira Kurosawa's Dreams. Okay. That looks really cool. But anyway.
You want to throw something up?
Anyway.
Flatliners. Because I don't know how much that deals with
Flatliners. That's not
I've
really.
Never seen it.
That's not dreams, though.
Yeah, but it's the same
type of crossing over into death.
It's unconsciousness.
Yeah, because it's
But then again, the scientific explanation for a near-death experience is that you have a dream that's brought on by certain areas of your brain.
That's true. I think
suffering oxygen deprivation.
I would say hallucinations rather than dreams, though.
Yeah,
and that's why.
More like
actually, that's why I think that all this stuff is going to be possible is because we can hallucinate, and because of that, I think that we can see things around us. So I think dreams are not going to be that.
So what
hard.
about that? There's science of dreams, Joey.
Yeah, let's go on to the science of dreams. Yes.
What's possible now?
Well, let's talk. Let's start with just the basics of dreams.
All right.
What is a dream? Okay, because there has been a lot of controversy over the very basic idea of what a dream, because it's in the mind, and of course, how do we study? Or not so much anymore. It's psychology is more behavior and scientific instruments now, but a lot of it has to do with behavior. And the problem with dreams is it's in the mind, and you can't really do much behavior-wise. So for a long time, people didn't even think dreams were much more than just memories at night. But of course, now we've come to understand it's a whole lot more, and we need to dream.
Kind of a replaying of memories.
But even more so now, it's a necessary component of sleep. And if you're not getting dream sleep, REM, you're in a lot of trouble.
I think it's a mixture of random firings with anxieties and fears. I think it's several different things that they are mixing together, and that is why the dreams are the way they are.
And this is mentioned right now that we're talking about, of course, dreams when you go to sleep, close your eyes, and you experience things, not aspirations. So let's not get hung up on the English dictionary.
Or have a dream about being well hung. But thank you. Yes, that was great. So
that could work both ways, though.
Yeah, I suppose
it could be an aspiration and a dream when you close your eyes.
Be an aspiration.
You just look down in your dream and you go, "Wow."
Yep.
I'm Mr. Ed.
So a new thing that recently is because I used to think that you only dream during REM, and that's not while you're listening to the music.
Has put me asleep many times. I had to go there.
But what they're finding is that you actually dream all the time when you're sleeping, even when you're not experiencing rapid eye movement. And actually that makes a lot of sense to me, because a lot of times when I was trying to guide my dreams at night, I would set a recorder, the old cassette recorder, up, and I would listen to it as I fell asleep. So, and it would be repeating things that I wanted to dream about or to lucid dream, and it hardly ever worked. And I think the reason was because I'd go to sleep and I would actually dream about that stuff. And then I'd move on, dream about other things. And by the time I woke up, it was all long gone and I didn't even remember it.
Well, we have to look at what dreaming is. I mean, it's very much in the moment. We're not even really we're ourselves, but we're not really ourselves in the dream. And the moment is the most important. So if we don't remember what happens, it's almost as if it doesn't happen. I mean, there are times where I feel like, I didn't dream last night, I didn't dream. But there's times where I have a memory, and it seems like a memory from years back. And it's like, wait, did that really happen, or was that a dream? And one of them, and I'm completely honest about this, is I have this memory that I'm driving on the freeway and there's a car coming at me the wrong way. And I'm like, when did that happen? I thought it seriously happened. That's never happened to me. But I feel like it kind of did. And every once in a while, I get these memories that I'm not sure if they were a dream or if they were real, and I have to think about it. So memory is a big thing in dreaming.
There are parts of your brain that are, I called it a BS detector in the last episode.
Yeah.
It's not only that, but it's also differentiating between what's your own mind's creation and what's input from your senses. Yeah. And I think over time you can confuse the two. And
it comes up with memory like we were talking about last time. A lot of times
people have memories of things, and it's not often something that everyone questions. You might have a memory of something that never actually happened to you, but it's so convincing, but it turns out it was just from a dream. And this kind of crossover happens probably more often than we would care to admit.
Right. Things I've definitely experienced where you're falling asleep and you're thinking about things, and it's like a smooth transition, and it becomes a dream.
That's a name for that.
Lately, I've been having more stress dreams where it's kind of nightmarish because there are things that I need to do, but then everything seems like a setback.
Yeah.
And you never can quite accomplish whatever you're doing. Yeah. And then you mentioned the thing about the going to sleep to a tape recorder and how that will sometimes be integrated. What I've found is that if I have some sort of audio stimulus, especially in the morning when I'm supposed to wake up, I've slept through so many alarms, especially when I had a clock radio where the DJ comes on or it's some music or whatever. I had so many dreams where I would just be in the
it got
dream,
incorporated into
and then
your
somehow
dream.
Someone turns on a radio or something, and then the radio's part of my dream, and I don't realize I need to wake up because that's my alarm going off. Yeah. And even with beepy alarms and stuff like that, like I'll go like, why is the microwave going off, and I can't turn it off.
I'm exactly the same way.
Plenty of times.
Mine has to be an actual annoying sound.
Yeah.
That'll wake me up. Otherwise, I get it.
I record my own voice when I need that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daryl's time to get up!
That's your voice?
Yes, it is.
Starscream.
Starscream's voice. Oh, that's next week.
So it seems like dreams seem to be a replay. I think that's one of the latest things. It's a replay of the day. I think it's a lot what you said, Kail, which is it's things flashing, memories going on in our heads. But a lot of it is
neurons firing, and it all affects it.
Apparently, though, if you're not getting sleep, you're not getting, because there's that disease, or I don't know if it's a disease, but affliction.
Syndrome.
Yeah, syndrome where, there's very few people get it, but there's the guy who can't sleep, and he just ends up being in this state of constant hallucination where he doesn't know where he is or what's going on.
If we had fact checkers, they might be able to look that up.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be so cool.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
I don't want to look it up because
since we're moving on to the experience of dreams and lucid, before I talk about this dream that I had, I wanted to just briefly go back to Dreamscape. And the reason it was so significant to me is because the kid that had the nightmare, and where he goes in and he helps the kid overcome and conquer his fear.
That was you.
No.
Oh.
And overcome and conquer his fears, and then it's gone. Mm-hmm. And so I thought that was very powerful, and it prompted me to do that type of trying to help myself with dreams.
Well, I can relate some of that with lucid dreaming, because I think that dreams actually have the power to change your reality, because your reality is not just the set of things that you know and the things that you sense and feel around you. It's also your emotional state. And I think that dreams can actually affect you to a large degree emotionally, where you can actually take steps to make improvements, make resolutions, find things out about yourself you didn't realize in the state of a dream.
Yeah.
So I actually had a pretty bad dream last night, which bothered me when I woke up. And I'd like to do a little precursor here. We're going to talk about dreams, but do you guys notice something about dreams? That when you're telling about a dream, it's very interesting, but whenever anyone else is telling you about a dream, it's incredibly boring.
Well, this is going to be a good podcast.
Well, I'm just saying we need to watch out for that, because I've noticed that tremendously. It's like, this dream, this happened. And when I'm telling it, it's the most awesome thing in the world.
Because you experienced it.
Yeah, exactly. And then, but it's so weird. Other people, when everybody else tells me their dreams, for the most part, sometimes they're really cool, but for the most part, it's just like, okay, nice.
Yeah. Well, we'll try to keep that to a minimum.
So yeah, let's. Because I know we're going to talk about dreams, but just keep it to a minimum.
We'll keep dream descriptions to under 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention one other thing too, as you were mentioning passing into the dream state, that it's not necessarily all started when you enter REM. I wanted to talk about sleep paralysis, because that's something that I've experienced a couple of times, and apparently a lot of folklore is based on sleep paralysis issues, where you can feel like you're weighted down by something. You'll sometimes hallucinate about dark figures around you, and you can feel like you're either being held down by a witch or a demon, and depending on your this is another nurture thing.
I've experienced it myself.
And a good explanation for a lot of abduction scenarios are this kind of sleep paralysis thing. And it's because I think that happens with a malfunction of the sleep pattern, because usually certain parts of your brain shut down, other parts remain active, and so that you do a lot of motor things in the dream, so you move around a lot, and you don't want to be thrashing around.
That is exactly what happens.
Your body
shuts down.
You're right. The part of your brain that actually sends the nervous signals to your muscles shuts down before you're actually fully asleep. But usually your conscious mind goes before that. But if the order gets mixed up, then you can still be conscious, or at least you think you are. And I still have some debate about the times this happened to me, whether or not I just dreamt it or if it was real, but it seems so darn vivid that it's hard to believe that it's not real. But one time in particular, I remember being very exhausted. I lay down in bed, and after a few minutes, it was not long after I had read about the whole idea of sleep paralysis, but I woke up and I knew I couldn't move a muscle, but hovering over me was some dark character, and to me it was kind of like the Dark Knight. It was just Batman sitting there with, just all shadowy and just kind of looking over me, some big towering creature hovering over my bed. And I just thought to myself, this is really weird, but it's kind of cool to experience this instead of being afraid of it, because I knew it was all in my head.
I think that's what happened with me, is that when I've experienced sleep paralysis, and like you said, this pressure on your chest, this figure hanging over you, is that once you realize that it is sleep paralysis, when it happens, rather than freaking out or getting angry, or getting scared, if you relax, it goes away so much more quickly. And
for those of you out there who don't know, the three of us here are skeptical people. So we're not going to be sitting here going, oh, we're being invaded by a ghost. You don't say invaded by a ghost.
Well, maybe you were.
Maybe you were bent over, but I don't know.
Whoa!
I've never been invaded by a ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
That's the kind of ectoplasm I don't want.
Yeah. Now, one thing is that you were saying about, being bored by other people's dreams. And I want to read this dream. So are you saying I shouldn't?
No, I'm saying it depends. Which is this the
This is like 3
is this the devil
paragraphs?
dreams?
Yes.
Yes, this one's fine.
All right.
I've heard this one before. Okay. This is a good one.
Okay, well, we tackled a little bit about what a dream is and everything, but maybe we should talk a little bit about why we dream.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, and then we'll go over to Kail's dream, and then let's move on to lucid dreaming, and we'll go
because this goes right into lucid dreaming.
Exactly.
So there are several theories about what a dream is. Sometimes it's like you said, the spontaneous firing of different parts of your brain, and it gets synthesized into an experience.
Right.
And that random firing might be different things. We talked a little last week, or at least off the air, about tabula rasa, what the unencumbered brain, clean slate would experience. Right. And I think that what happens is we build a model of experience in our head, and that model can be replicated in a dream. Yeah,
it's exactly what we're talking about, is that in certain dreams, what you were saying.
There was a brain fart. You could almost see it coming out of his head there.
It's stinky. Okay, I'm sorry. What'd you say?
Dirty mind.
I was saying that because we have a model of experience, that model can be recreated. So I had a question about what dreams would be like if we hadn't experienced anything yet. What if it was tabula rasa and we just had a clean brain and we're a newborn baby and we've never seen, cars, animals, spaceships, whatever. Maybe all we saw was mom and dad. So
giant nipple.
So if our so would all our dreams be about giant nipples?
Oh my God!
You know what? I think that I've definitely dreamed about things that didn't exist and later have existed. So I don't know. Sometimes dreams are very creative. A lot of people, scientists, say that their biggest thoughts and inventions have come from dreams.
Right.
The double helix, the snake. What was it? The guy who went on a LSD trip and ended up coming up with it was the snake eating. I really should have thought about that one before.
It was one of the Grateful Dead.
Yeah, that was it.
No, was it the snake eating itself?
Yeah, and he saw that, and it brought to his mind Linus Pauling.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, and he was riding his bicycle. He's a guy who actually...
our big problem, people, is we shouldn't do LSD before the podcast. Now I can't think of anyone's name. So,
that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's got to be the problem.
Yeah.
Whoa! I just saw a picture of Linus Pauling. He's a freak. Look him up, guys. Go to Wikipedia. This guy's just like...
They got a
Look who's talking.
Look who's talking.
It doesn't look
who's
like
talking now.
No, I'm just saying this whole freak response thing.
Holy crap.
Okay, go to our website and look at Joey's picture, all right? And then compare it to Pauling.
Yeah.
Who's freakier? You tell me.
All right, now we're going to have to put that on the website.
Yeah, we're
Linus Pauling versus Joey.
At least the link to Wikipedia there.
Yeah.
We need to have like a hot or not thing.
Hey.
All right.
So, okay, let's move... Linus in his blanket. Kail, why don't you go ahead and tell us about this?
We didn't really talk about
why
of dreaming. So I was just going over some of the theories about what dreams are. And I think that, you can take existing things, and resynthesize them, maybe even come up with some new things. And that's an argument about nurture versus nature. How much do you have to experience before they get integrated into your dreams? Or can your things you see be turned into something else. And the brain is really good at distinguishing faces. So I think that early on, you just have to see one face, and then you're going to see faces in your dreams. But perhaps if you're in the wild, you see a coyote's eyes glint in the darkness one time, and then that might mean that you start seeing monsters in your nightmares with glowing eyes.
Here's my thoughts on what a dream is and why it happens. I think that we always model the world around us. I mean, what we're actually seeing, and we use our eyes most of the time, but what we're actually seeing is not really the model that we're experiencing. Because, as I mentioned last week, our eyes are looking up, down, left, right, up, right. They're little permeations of movement. And they create this three-dimensional world.
Wherever the nipples are.
Where the nipples are. And
if you're not
I'm honest, serious.
If you're not a human, you got to keep looking because there are more nipples to go.
There's nipples everywhere.
Yeah, right.
Nipples everywhere. But not a drop to drink. Okay, so as I was saying, so we create this 3D world, and to us it seems mostly like it's a visual world, and our eyes are creating it. But what I think is actually happening is we've created a three-dimensional model of the world in our heads that we're living in. Now, what happens when our senses shut down is our brain continues to make that model. But what's happening now is it's no longer getting input from the outside, it's only getting input from the inside. So the model is changing, it's creating, it's based on what you've seen before, and it puts things together just as it does in real life. Perfect example, while I was walking here, I was up front, and one of those big, not palm leaves, but rubber tree leaves was on the ground, and I almost stepped on it. I thought it was a giant lizard for a split second, not like an iguana.
Right.
It looked just like it, and I had to do a double take. Why? Because that model in my brain said, oh, looks like this, and made me see that. So I think that's what's going on in your head. When there's no outside stimulus, you're just kind of jumping from one thought to another, and you can create anything that might be in there.
And, of course, because our area is rife with iguanas.
Yes.
It's natural for you.
Well, no, see, and that's exactly what happened is my logic center kicked in and went, yeah, right. That's a freaking leaf, idiot.
Right.
And then I went, yeah, I'm an idiot.
So what do you think about blind people dreaming? As you mentioned everything visually, so we're being kind of sightist here.
That's very true.
So that's why I tend to talk about things as being experiential, because it's more than just one sense. But that 3D model can be based on sight, sound, touch, feel,
exactly,
smell, everything.
I think it's like we talked about last time. You're welcome. I think it's like we talked about last time. And I always like giving you my knowledge. Like we talked about,
as long as the giving ends there.
Yeah. Well, you know how I usually give you my knowledge. What?
DNA is information.
Yeah, I was going another direction there.
I don't know if you would call that knowledge or not, but
what?
That was what? I'm not saying
everybody at home is doing it.
Okay. What?
Okay.
Yeah.
So all right. So in that case, that's
bad podcaster. Bad podcaster.
That's kind of where I think dreams are coming from, and that's why we keep having them. And I think there's some sort of reset that needs to happen where I think maybe our brains need to be devoid of external imaging or input so they can model in peace for a little while.
So that's part clean out all those random thoughts that you've had throughout the day too.
Yeah, that's an idea I've heard about. That it's almost like a computer algorithm that cleans up.
Yeah, like organizing. Because if you think about it, how good the memory is and how we get to thoughts when we need to, there's got to be a part of our brain that's putting things in certain categories.
And there's the whole thing about, we talked about memories previously, that you tend to relive things, and that reinforces your memories. So dreams, in a way, are a way of resynthesizing that, maybe taking it a different direction.
And putting it in a certain place, saying, this is where you belong, this is where you belong, and let's reinforce it here.
And I've also thought of the idea, this is not original, but I'm pretty fond of the idea that dreams' purpose, a lot of it is probably kind of like simulation. You know, in the modern world, we have simulations where we do training, and we get to see how we react and hone our skills in a certain situation. So driving simulations, police simulations for training purposes. I think in a way, just evolution-wise, that dreams can be valuable as kind of a training ground. You know, what do you do if you're being chased by the big scary monster in the dark? It kind of gives you a little heads up on how you would react to that. And now dreams don't necessarily play fair, because they tend to set you back all the time. But it's kind of like a way of practicing for adversity.
In fact, Stefan LaBerge, who is a huge proponent of lucid dreaming, brought it out of the shadows in the 90s at Berkeley or Stanford, I think. And he...
Fact checker.
Yeah. Don't interrupt my thoughts like that. I can't focus when you...
You can't get back to him.
He said that it's like living another life. When you're lucid dreaming, you can, in fact, if you have stage fright, you can practice being in front of people in your dreams, and the experience is real, and your mind will take it as real. But you have to lucid dream to really get the most out of that and know you're dreaming, because other dreams just aren't as efficient because they're kind of all over the place.
And I totally agree with that. And that actually segues right into my dream.
Boom!
All right.
This is good. I've heard this.
Don't count when you point them out. Just
Kail told me this dream many years ago when we both worked at Virtual World in Pasadena. It's a good dream. Go for it, Kail.
Yeah, I had this dream, and I tend to write down when I have a really
do it in your MLK voice. Come on.
I have a dream.
I have a dream.
This dream happened in September 26, 1994, and I named it The Demon of Fear. And this is how it goes. I dreamed I was in my apartment, and it was early in the morning, and I came out of the bedroom into the front room / kitchen area. There were flames shooting up everywhere, but they were not consuming what they were burning. There was a red glow all over the apartment. It was so hot that the white dress shirt I was wearing was completely stuck to my body. Suddenly I realized this could not happen in reality, so I realized I was dreaming. I took off the soaking shirt, and as I did, I said, all right, let's see where this nightmare is going. At that moment, I heard a deep guttural growl. I yelled, come on, show yourself. Yeah, basically like that. The front door then began to buckle inward. It blew apart into the room. Then through the gaping hole stepped the darkness / devil character from the movie Legend. Do you guys
I
ever
was about
see
to say Legend. What's up with that?
That's exactly
Either that or it was Stephen King.
Through that was the character
hey guys.
Tim Curry played.
Maybe it was Larry King.
Yeah, Tim Curry played that. Awesome
Saskatoon,
character.
you're on.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. Anyway.
So the guy's in the door.
Since I knew I was lucid dreaming, I knew that I had power to do anything in my dreams. And as I clapped my hands together straight in front of me, I yelled, come on, you bastard.
And then the lights shut off.
Out of my hands came a large beam of blue-white light. It hit the darkness creature in the middle of his chest, and then he really began to roar. I knew that sometimes things in dreams mean things, and if you ask characters in your dreams what things mean, they tell you. And in a way, you can get information from yourself by doing that.
Yes, agreed.
I asked the darkness, who are you? And he said, I am your fear. When he said that, he reached out with a red trident he had in his right hand, and out of it came a red bolt of light, which struck me in the left shoulder. That knocked me back a bit, but for some other reason, what he said made me very angry. I began hurling balls of blue-white flaming light at him. Not my own balls. Plummeting backward, it pushed me back to the door.
Hold on, new superhero.
Captain Blue Balls.
Holy shit.
I'm sorry.
Anyway.
Go ahead, Captain Blue Balls.
I yelled, he said, I'll be back. And this is actually before... Anyway, so I clapped my hands together again, and the blue light from my hands blew him out the door. And I yelled, I'll be ready for you next time, you son of a bitch. And then I woke up.
Okay, next time don't read it. You gotta just say it.
Say it.
Because you're...
Yeah.
We had to...
Anyway, the point of all that, now that I've got the information out to everybody, is that this dream was so powerful in changing my life. In that, from that time on, I hardly ever have been too afraid in my dreams. Because even though I'm not realizing I'm dreaming, even in real life, when it's dark and I'm walking around, we're in some spooky place, that fear is not even near as much as it used to be before I had that dream, and I challenged the fear.
Why are you afraid of the dark? You can kick everyone's ass.
This stream actually, it changed him. I remember the passion he used to talk about it. And, I knew it. It's one of the reasons we became friends was talking about this. And it was huge. And it changed him. And that just shows that dreams, especially lucid dreams, can change you.
Yeah, one of the things I do, and Linda knows this, is that when I wake up and I'm from a dream especially, and I'm feeling anxious, and, sometimes you feel like, well, there's sounds, there's motion. I immediately get up in the middle of the dark. I don't turn on the lights, and I walk around our apartment. I walk totally around everywhere in the dark. And after a couple of seconds,
guys,
whatever fear's
are you wearing clothes?
Yes, I am.
Okay. We have to go to a very haunted place, the three of us.
Yeah.
Because we're skeptical and do a podcast there.
You mean a place that's claimed to be haunted?
Yeah, right. That's what I mean. Haunted, something that place that people really are scared of, like black curses.
Like a church.
Yeah.
No, wait.
What? and that would be an awesome podcast or video for us to do.
That would be kind of cool.
How about the creative side of dreams?
Well, oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Well, yeah,
but wait. I want to tell about my first lucid dream.
Oh, go.
And saying it after your lucid dream kind of sucks because yours made all...
I will interrupt you too.
That wasn't a lucid dream though, was it?
Yeah, it was. I realized I was dreaming.
Yeah, and yours made all sorts of cool sense. Mine, I was in front of Daryl's house.
Wow.
On Olima. And I'm walking down the street and I realize, hey, this is a dream. And I reached down and I picked up a leaf and I crumbled it in my hand and I couldn't believe how realistic it felt. I looked up and there was the trophy case from the library at our high school in the middle of the street. And I thought that was awesome. And I ran towards it. I jumped over it and flew into the air. Makes absolutely no sense whatsoever, but it was my first lucid dream ever. And I woke up at that point and I was like, whoa.
Nice.
That was pretty cool.
Weird, yeah.
That was pretty cool. And so that was when I fell in love with the idea of lucid dreams. Probably the most realistic I had, and that was a little bit before I knew about lucid dreaming. So it's like, even since I've read how to do it, I haven't even had one that clear.
The hardest one is flying.
Yeah.
When you're lucid dreaming to get yourself to fly. I've done it a couple of times.
Lose the illusion of...
Yeah. And I'll tell you, but when you succeed in flying like Superman in your dream and know that you're dreaming,
I've never put enough into it. I've always woken up when I start to lucid dream. Every time. I hate it.
It happens. But the first few times I lucid... Is it dreamt?
Dreaming. Yeah, lucid dream.
Dreamt.
What's the past tense?
Lucid. I did lucid dream.
Okay, the first couple of times
lucid.
I dreamed lucidly. Excellent. Dreamt lucidly. I dreamt lucidly.
There you go. That's it.
I think I had the most control the first few times it happened, but what was interesting is, I've always had a bit of a control issue when it comes to eating. I was going to throw you guys off a little bit there. So,
I was waiting for him to go into that a little bit, and I was starting to get...
Fake you out. Behold.
All right.
Okay, so...
Oh, now we're doing Skeletor? Behold, He-Man!
So the first time I recall having a lucid dream, I realized what was going on. It was something my brother had told me about. He said, if you want to try doing this, just ask yourself periodically throughout the day, maybe every hour or so, just in your head, ask, am I dreaming right now?
Yeah.
And I got in the habit of doing that. So in my waking hours, I would, of course, in my head just go, am I dreaming? And the answer is always no. But then there was this one time where I asked myself, are you dreaming? And I'm going, things aren't quite right around here. Yes, I am. How cool is that?
Did you hit that high note?
Yeah, pretty much. And I said I could sing soprano if I want to and do whatever. But what I chose to do is I thought, I'm hungry and I want to eat a bunch of stuff. So why not have... And I was on a diet at the time, and I thought, I'm always going to bed feeling a little gnawing on my stomach and everything. So why don't I just pig out? I'll just make a table in front of me and have every kind of food possible. And I just ate and ate and ate. And that's part of the thing. Like you described the leaf, crumbling the leaf. Yeah. Well, the sensation of eating was completely
You just
real.
made my stomach growl.
Right. Because I was eating all sorts of things, and it was texture, the smell, the taste was all there.
You smell it.
And it was just awesome. And I just decided I want to eat a ton of sweets. I want to eat a bunch of cake. And I want to have a bunch of ham and lasagna and whatever else. And then I started thinking to myself, okay, I've never tasted caviar before. So why don't I just, bring forth some caviar and see if it tastes anything like the real thing.
Bring forth the caviar!
So I just ate some caviar, and to this day, I've never actually eaten caviar, so I don't know what the comparison is. But I was kind of curious how my brain would.
That would be like the end of Dreamscape. You'd eat the caviar and then look at the camera, and then it would be the end because he was like the guy from.
Then freeze frame like it's a Toyota moment. Oh, what a feeling, caviar.
I think we should take a moment if you're done.
I was pretty much done, but the other thing about it is, since I was on this diet and whatever, after I woke up, I felt so great because I hadn't actually eaten anything, but I felt like, wow,
I've
this
never
is
done
the feeling.
I felt really great after the lucid orgy
stuffed.
that I had.
Yeah,
and
who was in it?
Silence. We don't want to know because it
Skeletor?
could be one of us. And if it's Skeletor, we're talking about eye sex.
Hey,
don't want to go there.
It was
talk
Cringer.
about bones, man.
So, what I was saying before the orgy was that I think it's important for those people out there going, "Duh, what's a lucid dream? I don't know." We haven't really described what a lucid dream is.
Damn,
so people out there going,
I think they probably got it by now.
Yeah, well,
Go ahead.
You just
Probably
demeaned
looked
our
it up.
entire audience.
Sorry. Okay, lucid dreams are awesome.
I sound like this because I listened to Incoherent ramblings.
Listen to my laugh. It sounds very feminine.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Quickly.
lucid dreaming is dreaming that's been around for a while, but they didn't actually start to study it scientifically until the 90s, late 80s, 90s. And it was a guy named Stephen LaBerge. He was at, what did I say, Stanford?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Stanford. He's a neuropsychologist or something to that effect. And he started to say lucid dreaming's real, because people would say lucid dreaming's not real. And what lucid dreaming was is that you would be dreaming, and as we had discussed earlier, you realize within the dream, I am dreaming. And at that point, you're no longer the guy going, hey, look, there's a monkey flying. Ah, that's cool. I saw one yesterday. You're going, oh my God, there's a monkey flying. What the hell? Oh, this is not real. This is a dream. You become almost self-aware in the dream. You're yourself. And you wake up and you can get to the point where you can have some semblance of control. And it's amazing the studies they've done on it. They've shown that in a dream, you can have experience of a second life as long as it's not a normal dream. You have to realize that you're dreaming and it becomes real. Where Daryl said he tasted the food, where Kail said he could feel the sweat on him, where I said I crushed the leaf. It's that real. Your senses are at full bore in there, except they're not getting, like I said earlier, any input from the outside. So these things are so real. Yeah. Yet at the same time, you know it's not real. It's very strange and it's hard to explain. You can tell you're not dreaming. You don't get confused. Once you know I'm dreaming, you don't go, oh, was it a dream or is it real? I can't tell. You can tell, but still everything looks 100% real. You can do anything you want. And I highly recommend any books by Stephen LaBerge about lucid dreaming. They give step by step. So that's kind of what it is. Look into it. It's great. Let's continue on it now.
Okay, let me just give one little piece of information about, I've talked about how the BS detection shuts down. That's the parietal lobes, apparently.
Okay.
So, if I looked it up correctly, okay, write us and correct me if I'm wrong. But that's not only part of your detection of what's real and what's not, but it's also an active part of your consciousness. So it's been shown that people who are lucid dreaming have more activity in the parietal lobe. So it's, in a way, partially waking up. The right part of your mind wakes up without causing the rest of you to come awake. So the thing is, it's kind of a difficult thing to balance. And that's part of why it's tough to do, because even if you ask yourself the right question at the right time, am I dreaming? And the answer is yes, you'll often wake up because it does shock your consciousness back into...
That's exactly what happened to me preparing for this podcast. Remember, I sent you that text and said that I actually lucid dreamed this week. But the second I realized that I was dreamt, right, correctly. Thank
Whichever.
you. That once I awoke, once I realized I was dreaming, I woke up.
I have a theory, and I think that... I want to know what you guys think about this. And it's a little complicated, so let me try to get through without rambling on incoherently. Oh, did you see the plug there?
Okay. The website.
Yeah. I am rambling.com.
Thank you.
Yes. So, I kind of feel like when you're in a dream and it's not lucid, you're kind of at the level of an animal. And what I mean by that is animals live in the moment. They do have memories, but they're not regularly modeling the world and comparing it necessarily to past memories in a conscious way. One of the reasons we exist is because we say, I exist. And so I kind of feel like in a dream, you're just like any other animal on the planet, which is why...
Define the animal?
Let's say a dog.
Another mammal.
Yeah, let's say another mammal. That's probably better. So let's say another mammal,
Not
a dog.
A paramecium.
Yeah. Yeah, good call. Okay, gotcha. I gotcha. Right. Animals, big
and
kingdom.
Humans are animals too.
Yeah, okay.
Jiminy Cricket told me that.
Humans are animals. Okay, all right. So I got it. Scratch the animals. The mammal.
Where is there one? I'll do it right now.
One of the great apes.
Give me the guinea pig.
I'm trying to... Okay. So as I was saying,
good guinea pig.
like a dog or a guinea pig, they live a lot in the moment. And if they see something that's weird or strange, they might not compare it to what's really going on because they don't have an ongoing
they just react
thought in their head. They just react. And that's kind of how we are in dreams when we're not lucid dreaming. That's true. I kind of feel as soon as we say this is a dream, it's like saying I exist. And we become fully conscious in it. We go to the next level of reality, which we all have above most other mammals, as far as we know, which is we know we exist. We know other people exist in the same sort of sense as we are, as we talked about with reality last time. So I think that's the main difference between a dream and a lucid dream and how lucid dreams can become so real in that moment.
Well, the other thing is that you turn off the randomizer because when you're regular dreaming, these random things just seem to happen. If you get enough, you can exert a certain amount of control in a lucid dream. So, like I said, conjure something up, decide to go a certain place, decide you want to fly, and you can do it. And some of the dreams I've had are breathtaking because of some of the places. I feel like I've been to these places, even though they're not real.
I know.
And it's awe-inspiring. Sometimes I look back on them fondly and think, wow, this is some place that I would really like to go again.
Hey. You know what? Yeah. That totally. I got to say something before because I'll forget about it. Is that I actually painted a painting using Photoshop because of a dream I had from reading a book about a star, a white dwarf star, smashing into our sun, or one like our sun.
You can check it. We'll put it up on the website.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just that I'll put up the picture. And when I woke, I watched this happen in my dream. I read it. By the way, it was Death by Black Hole was the book I was reading by Neil deGrasse Tyson. Awesome guy and awesome book. Anyway, so he describes it in there. And when I went to sleep, I totally dreamed that, and I saw it happening. And as with lucid dreams, they seem so real and vivid.
They seem almost more real than reality.
Yeah.
In that way, you almost know that's kind of how you know it's not real.
Yeah, that should make you lucid dream, but I wasn't lucid dreaming. I just dreamed this. I saw it happen. And so when I woke up, I painted it, and I thought it turned out pretty cool. And go to imrambling.com, and you'll I'm going to post it, and you'll be able to see
under
it.
Rambling 4 show notes.
Nice. Good plug.
Nice.
Nice work on that.
So, another thing about lucid dreaming, they said in one of the books, is they did experiments to find out that, you know how they say that a lot of time passes, it seems, in a dream.
Yeah.
And they say that it's actually not true, that it's an illusion, because what they did was because the idea, if you watch, which is a movie, what's the movie?
What the hell was that?
Help me out.
Inception.
Inception. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
I was doing the South Park thing. I couldn't remember what it was called.
Oh, right. Right.
So
wait, with Antissa?
Patient.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're supposed to say it.
Say it. I forgot where we were.
Oh, right.
We were going South Park. You're going Rocky Horror.
I know.
All right.
Wait, who's the Rocky Horror?
And
Tim Curry again.
Yeah, legend, right? Right. Yeah, he's the stuff of legend.
You're right.
He's the stuff of legend.
We just bring it all around here.
I like that. I like that.
And you called him a bastard to his face.
That's right.
Poor Tim Curry.
Wouldn't it be funny if he had egg on?
He's like, it's just prosthetics.
Why
man.
you dogging on me, dude?
So they did an experiment, and what they did was they had people watch a tennis match in their dream. That was what they had in lucid dream. And they said, I want you to count out and turn your head to watch the ball as close as you can get it to every 1 second.
So some dreams, eyes on the nipples. Other dreams, eyes on
the balls.
Right.
Captain Blue Balls! And what they did was they then counted in REM sleep, because it's the only thing that does move is your eyes. And they watched and they counted it, and it was very close to a second each one. And the idea is that sometimes you think days pass in your dream. They say it's like a movie when they fade out at night, and then in a moment that you see the alarm clock and it's daytime, and you feel like time has passed. And that's what might happen in a dream to make you feel like it's been longer than it actually is.
I never thought of it that way, but it is kind of like editing for time or time compression.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've seen myself jump forward in time in my dreams, like I'm dreaming on something and all of a sudden I'm 2 hours later and I jumped that period of time instead of actually experiencing it.
For those of you who'd like to try lucid dreaming at home and maybe don't want to look up stuff too much, let's tell them because we've had experience.
Because we like lazy listeners.
Yeah, we do. We understand you.
Yeah, because they can't get up and walk away.
With the internet, it's a little different. You can look it up, but
Captive
still,
audience.
Here's a couple of things you can do. You can look up ideas, but one of the things which was mentioned earlier is you keep asking yourself, "Am I dreaming? Am I dreaming?" You make it a habit, and so sooner or later, in your dream, you're gonna go, "Am I dreaming?" And wait, maybe I should back up. Don't just go, "Am I dreaming? Am I dreaming? Am I dreaming?"
Right.
Go, "Am I dreaming?" and then look around and kind of notice.
Make a test.
Yeah,
That's
do a
what's
test.
Important.
Yeah. Well, I know that a lot of times I get inklings in dreams, and we talked last week about dreaming about deceased relatives. And you get...
I dream about my parents quite a lot, actually.
Right. And I notice more often than not that when my father's in a dream of mine, that it seems like something's off, but I can't put my finger on it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And it's after I wake that I go,
You
I put
do
the dots
see-
together and go, oh wait, my dad was here, but he's not
Right.
alive. Right.
Yeah, that's a good point. I've noticed that too, because both my parents are passed, and I've noticed that with both my parents, it's the same thing. They're in the dream, and sometimes it has something to do with it a little, because, it's happened sort of recently. But that's a good point.
Yeah.
You gotta look for
what
things
happened-
like that.
Right. One of the things is my father died when I was 8 years old. He died in an automobile accident. But the thing is, I don't dream about my dad. I hardly ever do. But all the time, I dream about buildings and about all these beautiful buildings and cool designs. And the reason I feel like is that's how my dad is coming into my dreams. And I don't mean literally, I mean figuratively, because my father was an architect and a contractor. He designed buildings. And so it's like, it makes me feel good when I have those dreams because it's like, it's a little connection back to him.
Yeah.
And I think that caused me to do it more.
It's just a human need to want to remember somebody, and that again, that's another function I think of dreams is that whole reinforcing memories thing.
That's what I'm saying. Dreams are so powerful; they can help you if you what do we call the when you're dreaming octonaut or something? Remember?
Oh yeah, Areonaut,
something like that.
Areonaut. I think it's an aeronaut.
There's a term. I'll see if I can look it up. Anyway, go ahead.
But I wanted to say one other test there is out there, while I look this up in a second. Another test, if you're trying to see if you can dream, is look at text. Because it is very frequent. In reality, as you know, you look at text, you look away, and look back, it's the same text. You read something. In dreams, that rarely can ever happen. If you look at something that you read, and then you look away and look back, it's going to be different. It doesn't hold itself because it's too detailed. So
I remember reaching lucid dreaming state with that test one time.
Oh, really?
So I remember seeing something, and I thought I was stressed. It was another one of those stress nightmares because I had some really important receipt or something, and I looked, and it was there, and I look away, and then I look back, and it's a different receipt, and I go, how did I lose that so fast? And then it started occurring to me, and that idea popped into my head. I thought, wait, this is the kind of thing that happens in a dream. So I looked away again and looked back, and oh yeah, it's different again. So then I just figured out, now I can settle down because I can relax and I'm not really missing some important receipt. I
should use some of those because my test is always the same. It's can I float off the ground? That's my test.
That's a good one too, yeah.
Because of course, in reality, that does not happen.
Yeah, and I wish I had lucid dreams more often, but every now and then. I think that I feel like I almost get there with ideas of feeling like things are out of place or realizing that something changed when I looked away and then looked back. It occasionally slaps you into a more conscious state where you realize that that's not reality anymore.
Yeah.
Oneirionauts. Oneirionauts are lucid dreamers.
The Oneaters?
I love that. Part of the movie.
Well, we were to talk about creativity in dreams. How a lot of musicians and artists and writers a lot of stuff that they create has come from their dreams.
I know I've written music and poetry in my sleep, and I don't think I ever wrote it down properly to capture the moment.
That's
probably really bad poetry.
That's one of the most important things they say. If you want to become a lucid dreamer, and like they say, they're called Orionauts. Onarionaut. I don't know what that is.
And it don't matter if you're black or white.
Onernauts. Anyway, it's a bad name.
The first thing you have to do is you have to start writing down your dreams. You have to improve your dream recall, because if you don't, you could have a lucid dream. You might have lucid dreams every night and not remember them. That's a very strong possibility. So it's very important that you have a dream journal next to your bed, and when you have a dream, you write it down, or at least put down something to help you remember it, so that you can improve your recall. Once you start lucid dreaming, you can then become a better lucid dreamer. This is something that works with practice. The more you practice, the better you become at controlling your dreams, the more lucid dreams you have. In fact, they have even schedules set up where they say the best thing to do is to sleep a regular night, like if you've got the next day off, about 6 hours or so, 7 hours, wake up, maybe get a orange juice or something for, I think it's half an hour, then go back to sleep for a few hours, and you'll have the most vivid lucid dreams at that time. It's not exactly that, but something similar to that.
That's like encouraging it.
Yeah. I have a dream journal app on Android.
But
that's
cool.
I haven't had the discipline to actually employ it. I've only logged one dream.
Mine's a physical, actual physical.
It's probably the better thing to do, because
you get up and you physically write it down, and it helps bring it back to you.
Usually, right after you wake up, you don't want to be looking at some little screen and using the touch keyboard.
But you don't want to put too much, though, because you're not going to want to do it. You just put down a few quick notes and go back
just
to sleep.
explain what happened in the dream, and actually, then later on, if you look at it, it might bring it back to you. As a matter of fact,
and if you don't remember it pretty soon after you wake up, you're going to lose it.
Exactly.
You have to either replay it in your brain enough times that it's still there, or you write it down so you have a clue.
As a matter of fact, I was the book that I just finished, that I just did a Kickstarter on, the plastic bathtub soap dish.
Good plug.
Yeah, but the thing is that it actually was from a dream.
Soon available in audiobook.
Yes, and worldwide too.
Yeah, worldwide.
Every format. Anyway, it actually came from a dream, and several of ideas like that have come from dreams. I love dreaming. I love lucid dreaming especially. It's just awesome.
It's a great pastime.
It is.
And you get to lay down and sleep as you're doing it.
And lay.
Nice. You get to lay other things too.
Yeah.
Like a sofa.
You know, I was not going to go there, but inanimate.
Oh no, I mean you could lay on this. What? I was talking about the first part, not the second part. Yeah,
that was ironic.
So everybody out there who's listening to us right now, go do some lucid dreaming, and
well, wait for the podcast to end at least.
They're already sleeping.
We're causing lucid dreams right this moment.
It's very possible that some of you out there might lucid dream because you were listening to this. And if you did, please drop us a line at iamrambling.com, because we want to hear about anything.
Definitely.
The worst thing we ever did to this podcast was get a website, because now we have to plug it in.
Well, no, we're not plugging it. We're not making... Hold on.
All right.
We're not making money off of it. So we're not really plugging it. We're giving those who are listening an interactive way to interact with us.
I knew you were going to have to go there.
We're trying to enhance the experience.
Right. Like Viagra.
Like Enzyte.
Oh, yeah. What's a Bob? With a big smile? Yeah.
Smiling Bob.
Smiling Bob.
He lucid dreams a lot, I tell you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about sex and lucid dreams, because I remember this from the book, and I don't know if you guys have experienced it, and you don't have to say anything about it.
Of course I have.
Well, apparently what it says is that if you have that sex...
It was great.
Sex... Okay, thank you, Kail. What I meant by you don't have to tell us was please don't tell us. But, okay. If you have sex in lucid dreaming, men will get an erection, but they apparently won't ejaculate. But they will orgasm. Women will also orgasm, but I don't think it's going to get...
Wait, you mean like a dry orgasm?
Yeah, a dry orgasm, exactly, yeah.
Interesting.
That's that's what they say in the book.
Okay, everyone, prepare to get clinical.
They've done experiments,
territory right here.
And that's what they say. So
we're like in the fire swamp of treachery here.
Interesting.
So everybody try that tonight and get back to us, especially you women out there. Tell us what happened in your... Hey, I was doing my deep.
Yeah, well, that was a creepy voice. That was not
Joey,
a sexy
that's what my
voice.
wife always
Joey
says.
needs to be really afraid of.
I'll be like, "Hey, baby, what's going on?" She's like, "You're so creepy." I'm like, I was going for sexy. She's like, "I know, but you're so creepy."
So what if Kim subscribes?
Oh, she'll be all hot and bothered right now.
Oh, okay.
She'll have a lucid dream.
Damn it.
But it won't be of Joey.
No, you know who her lucid dreams are of?
Orlando Bloom.
No, that other person. Her lucid.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Ex
I'm sorry.
loved him. No.
No, I thought that Kim did too.
No.
Oh, okay.
Kim
My
is
mistake,
all
my mistake.
about Mal.
Oh, really?
All about.
Yeah, what's his name?
Why am I blanking on his name? He's one of my favorite actors, Castle.
Yeah, the guy that
Nathan Fillion.
Nathan Fillion. Oh, she loves Nathan Fillion. And the guy from Transformers, not...
For Linda, it's Robert Downey Jr.
Ah, yes. Who's
But
the guy from...
I have to admit, it kind of turns me on.
Yeah.
And for me, it's oh wait, hold on. No.
No, what's
Since we're naming male actors,
Dumal. Josh Dumal. Is he the guy in Transformers? Yeah, that's the other one.
Josh
That's him.
Duval.
Dumal.
Dumal.
I think that's it.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
that's
the
how you
guy in
say it.
Transformers, the army guy.
Oh,
And he was
Or
also in
Marine guy.
Vegas on TV.
Yeah,
okay.
that's who she finds
He's
hot.
in some new...
What about John?
And who I find hot
Chick flick.
is my wife, Kim. She is the hottest. Oh my God. What did you say?
All right.
What?
Did you just agree? No. You're like, definitely. I'm like...
No, I think I was saying something someone else said.
He was back in his own lucid dream.
I was talking about Josh Duval. What, that guy.
I
I
was trying
think,
to bring
Robert
up,
Duvall?
I was trying to bring up John Hamm.
I don't think that would do
because
it.
a lot of women are all swooning.
oh, I
on
think
him.
she kind of, yeah, likes him. Yeah, I've actually, she's been watching, that's,
Mad Men.
Mad Men.
Yeah.
And it was one of those shows where I wasn't watching it really closely, but she was watching us on the background. And he's a manly man. He is.
He's chiseled.
He's
Tell you what.
chiseled and
know,
just.
How
He
did we
gets
get
a
these
little 5
go from
o'clock shadow
dreams
going
to
on
man
and-
crush?
Because it's been
man crush.
Okay, for those of you who have been listening to Incoherent Ramblings, notice the hour. When we
Yes.
get to the hour, it gets a little bit weird.
It does.
You know,
It
no
does.
one's ever going to hear the outro we recorded.
The what?
Everyone's going to stop.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Stick around.
Yeah,
you gotta
for the
hear
outro.
the outro, which I've never heard. Is that really what it's called?
That's what I'm calling it.
Okay.
Well, it's called
Whether or not it's official.
as Daryl has named it.
wrap-up?
It is the Pig Stink Stomp.
yes, I love that music.
That's the background music.
That's some good
beginning
background.
and
So if you guys want to hear the pig stick six, what was it?
Pig Stink
The
Stomp.
pig sticks.
Or you said stinky pig stomp? Was it better option?
Originally I
Yeah,
said
yeah.
Stinky Pig Stomp, and you said Pig Stink Stomp, which is better.
So those
And
of
so
you
that's
who,
what it is.
Awesome.
so those of you who would like to hear the pig stink stomp, you can download it off of IamRambling.com.
And the interesting
the center
information
divide
about
way
it
of the
is
freeway.
is that
Right off the 710 freeway.
Oh,
we'll see you
God.
there. What's the
No,
interesting information?
The interesting information about that is that the drums were played by Daryl,
Thank you.
and the guitars and bass were played by me.
And I was the guy talking.
Huh?
Yeah, that's right, because he's
Oh,
doing the
that's right.
voiceover
Yes,
part.
that's right. He does voiceover.
So it's
right.
all participatory.
all of us.
It's so exciting. Oh my God. So exciting. Hey, and we might have some new people showing up for the podcast in a few weeks, so that'll be interesting. Speaking of a few
Yeah.
weeks,
So the same old.
yeah, once we start putting these up, I think some of the other members of Incoherent Ramblings, which you can check out on our website, might be interested in joining us, or possibly other people.
By the way, we're 3 weeks in and we haven't launched yet, but by next week, though,
By
I
next
think
But if you're
Yeah.
listening to
all
this,
the pieces are coming together.
But
if you're listening to this, we've
one,
probably launched
we've
by
already
now.
launched.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what are you doing in our private computer
Hey,
files,
but-
dude?
By the way, that reminds me
you time
of
traveled.
the subject for next time.
Oh, okay, yeah, because
is
we had one we talked about. Well, what's yours?
Mind, brain.
Why wouldn't we talk about your brain?
Not mine. A general brain. I'm talking about mainly mind.
You're getting tongue twisted.
Yeah,
Miley Cyrus?
Well, are you trying to say the difference between the physical brain and the mind?
Well, that's part of it. But
Neuroscience?
Neuroscience.
Neuroscience.
I
We can do
really
that.
like that subject.
Because we talked about the possibility of doing the technology
We should talk about sofas and
Sofas.
laying on them.
couches, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
that-
the technology singularity. That's another
Yeah,
one we might want to
singularity
get.
would be another good one. But I think
Yeah.
that mind is a more natural offshoot.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what I was thinking, is dreaming and then into mind.
Right.
Mind
how
and
minds are made up.
So we'll just say mind.
Mind, exactly.
Minds. Is it plural?
And let's promise ourselves to do zero research beforehand, so we don't know what any part of the.
Hey, we watched Dreamscape for this. We'll just watch. We'll watch Brainstorm.
Right. Hey, I was going to say
Let's
we need
Brainstorm.
a movie for the next one. So
Brainstorm.
Brainstorm. I like it.
Are you sure we don't need to look up some Wikipedia articles?
Okay.
Well, the thing is I agree. We look up stuff, but
Okay.
Joey and I have read several books about the brain and the mind, so
it's just
that's a subject we're interested in.
Yeah, we really like it.
I will brush up. Everybody brush up.
We really like it.
We're going to use our minds to think about minds.
So it's going to be totally meta.
Meta.
Yeah.
Oh God,
Well, we lost Joey.
I think that's the point where we have to end.
Yeah, probably.
So I want you guys to all sit back and listen to some of this awesome music. I'm Joey Shamlin. You can find me at IamRambling.com.
I'm Kail Anderson, and you can find me on Rom's Rants.
I'm Daryl Jors, and you can find me at jors.com. GIORS.
Now let's listen to some awesome music on the Pig Stink
Stomp.
on the Pig Stink Stomp. Hit it, boys! That's when you're supposed to stop.
Thanks for listening. You can now stop screaming at the open air. Listeners should put their minds back in their upright positions and resume traditional thinking. Find us on IamRambling.com for access to all of our weekly ramblings, show notes, general discussions, and any projects from Incoherent Ramblings. Like us on Facebook and rate us on iTunes. So long, and thanks for all the fish.